Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today is another story. Now this is a juicy story. This is a story about how I got put in isolation for 6 hours. It was like a prison, right? You literally just get shoved in a room for 6 hours under the watch of a teacher and you sit there and do work. To be honest, I fell asleep for half of it, but you know, I'm sure I was meant to do work. This story happened around about 3 days ago. It was a Friday, it was the last day of school. I was really tired because it was Friday. And we had English. We had English third period, which is one period after break. And we had homework set due for that day, and it was to do some English. Well, it was English, so that would make sense. And everyone had done it in the classroom apart from one person. And the person who didn't do it, his excuse was the fact that he didn't realize it was due for today, which was a reasonable excuse. I'm sure he did know, he just didn't want to do it, but I'm like that. So the teacher asked a general question to the classroom. She goes, who else knew the homework was due for today? And no one else answered, so I shouted out. I go, well, I didn't know it was due for today, but I also didn't do it at home. And she looks at me in this really awkward look, and she tells me to get out the classroom. So as everyone else, they start laughing because it's high school and people do that. And I was laughing myself because I was kind of confused on what was going on. So I grabbed my Bic pen, you know, the one where like you press down the sides and the different colours pop out. Yeah, I had one of them pens. So I grab it, put it in my pocket, and I storm out the classroom like Iron Man, just without iron part. So I walk out the classroom and I was leaning against the wall, my arms crossed. They were either crossed or in my pockets, I forget, and I was whistling because I was just kind of making fun of the fact that I'd done nothing wrong. And the teacher comes out about 10 minutes later, and she has this right go at me about the fact that I was giving the impression that you don't need to do homework at home because I said I didn't do it at home, I did it at school. And if you know me, you know I don't do homework. I've gotten out of a lot of homeworks by just not doing them. So I either do them at school or I get someone else to do them. So I did it at school. So she kept on having a go at me about the fact that I was portraying the fact that you don't have to do homework at home. That's why it's called homework. And I was just stood there like, miss, to be honest, I don't have a clue what you're on about. And then she goes and says something like, well, if you're not going to talk to me properly, don't speak to me at all. Stay out here. So I go, right, okay, I'll stay out here. I don't have an issue with it. I'm not doing work. So and she storms back into the classroom and closes the door on me. I'm like, right, okay then. So I go back to leaning against the wall, my arms crossed, whistling. And then the head of English walks down the corridor. Head of English is like the English department. There's like the head of English. That's why she was the head of English. And you know in schools they have them like really crappy like boards where they put like really crappy schoolwork on them because they think it's really good. Well, she was sent on one of them, right? So she'd stapled this black, I think it might have been black or red, this paper onto this wall, and she was like sticking up child's work. So as I was leaning against the wall whistling, she shouts, no joke, like she shouts at me from the opposite side of the corridor, get up off of that wall and unfold your arms. I'm like, okay, Mum, I will do that. Because I'm pretty sure if I wouldn't have, she probably would have come over and slapped me. Even though it's illegal, she looked pretty mad at me. So I do what she says, and I come off of the wall, and I am just standing there with my arms by my side. Not whistling, because if I did, I'd probably get the cane or something. And my English teacher comes back out. And as all this is happening, my science teacher is like, geez, every teacher's eyes have come down. My science teacher is walking down the corridor, because I think she has a meeting with some teacher. And she overhears everything that's going on. Now, me and the science teacher, you know, we're safe. Safe. Roadmen much. So she comes down, and after I've finished arguing with the teacher, she goes back in, my English teacher, she goes back in because she doesn't like my attitude. To be honest, no one does in this day of age, but oh well. And my science teacher comes down, and she starts talking to me normally, rather than shouting at me and being sarcastic to me. And she was talking to me normally, and I was being sarcastic, I'll admit, but I'm a very sarcastic person, so kind of can't help it. And then after me and my science teacher talk for a bit, she goes, where'd you sit? And I go, well, there. I point to where I sit in the classroom. She goes, go sit back down, and I want you to come back to me at dinner so we can have a meeting with the deputy head, you and me. I'm like, okay. So I go in the classroom and I start doing my work as I usually do. And she calls me up at the end of the classroom, and she goes, I want you to meet me in this classroom at dinner. Bearing in mind, there was still a period before dinner happened, so there was still an hour before dinner. And I go, I can't because I have a meeting with my science teacher and deputy head. And she goes, I don't care. Come and meet me at dinner. I'm like, okay then. And I walk out and go to my next lesson. So I go to my next period and the dinner bell goes. I'm like, right, cool. I'm going to go meet with my science teacher. So I go to a classroom and she's not there. And there was like a sub teacher in there. I was like, do you know where she is? And he goes, no, I don't know where she is. I'm like, right, okay, cheers. And then I come across the deputy head and I go, have you heard about the meeting that I'm meant to be having with you? And he goes, no. And I go, Oh, okay. About 5 minutes later, I see the teacher walk up to me. I go, oh, hey, where's the meeting? And she goes, oh, it's been cancelled because I'm doing other things. I'm like, oh, okay, I just go have dinner then. She goes, yeah, go on then. So as I was on my way down to the field, ready to eat my lunch, the English teacher clocks me, and she comes up to me, and she gets, follow me. I go, right, okay then. So we don't go to her room because I think the students in there or something, and she wanted to do it in private. So we go to some other English room, and we sit in there, and she takes my pen off me, and she takes a piece of paper that we have to carry around with us, and she starts writing warnings and how I've been naughty and arguing and backmouthing and all the bloody teacher things she does. And then two other English teachers walk in. One of them was the head of English, the one that was shouting at me, and another one was some English teacher that wears way too much makeup. So they walk into the classroom, and because they were meant to be having a meeting in there, them two. So me and my English teacher, we walk out the classroom because, we don't want to interrupt their meeting. Bearing in mind, before we walked out, all three of the English teachers that were in there, no joke, they were making fun of me. They were making fun of the fact that I can't spell, making fun of the fact that I can't use punctuation very well, making fun of the fact that I can't read. They didn't do that, but I'm sure they were going to somewhere down the line. So, up until then, I was being pretty cooperative, right? So I was listening to them, I was agreeing with them, all of that stuff. And that kind of just pushed me over the edge, the fact they were laughing at me and making things up about me. I got really annoyed about it, so I kind of flipped a switch, and I just went really sarcastic on my English teacher. She doesn't like sarcasm. She seems to think she's the Queen of England, and everyone seems to owe her something. So as we're walking out of the classroom, I asked my pen back because she'd written all the stuff down, and I want my pen back because it's, well, my pen. And she goes, no, and I asked why can't I have my pen back. She goes, I gave it to you afterwards. So I have this 3-minute conversation why I can't have my pen back. And then, halfway through the conversation, I bring out my phone out of my blazer pocket. I click record, and I record the rest of the conversation. I'm about to play you what I recorded.
If you want me to put you in resolution, then please feel free to carry on.
Why would you do that? What have we done? Just because you're a teacher, you can do anything. Okay?
No.
Okay.
Arguing.
Because apparently you've already
Being
won.
rude.
Oh, so if you've already won, as you've said in there, and I'm arguing and being rude, why can't you let me go then? You've already won. Congratulations. Can I have my pen back now?
Right, come with me.
Where am I off to?
This is a hard one. I'm wondering how many times a child needs to be rude to a member of staff before he gets put in resolution room.
Ah, philosophy. Well, what's the answer?
Well, I'm thinking he should go in now immediately anyway.
I know, pretty insane. Now, there was more to that, but it wasn't really relevant to it. We kind of just rambled on about something else and about the punishment I was going to get. And that's pretty much the story. I got put in resolution room for a whole day, which literally I just get shoved in a room for 6 hours and get to go out for dinner 10 minutes early. That was fun. Yeah, that was pretty much the story. It was an exciting one. It went from a very small answer to a question to me getting shoved in a room for 6 hours. So I guess moral of the story is just don't answer any questions teacher give you. Either that or don't backmouth. I know that's probably the best one you should go for then. But in my case, just don't answer questions that teachers give you. So yeah, that was the story of how I got put in isolation for a whole day. It was kind of unfortunate, to be honest, because I think I had a pretty good day. It was a Friday. I had music and probably product design or some other lesson that I find fun. So if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to slap a like. Everyone in the mother has been asking for this video recently. So if you enjoyed it, then share it with your dog or something. I don't know. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. We just hit 200 subscribers and we're on our way to 300. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.